I entitled this video Connecting because I didn't want to use the networking word because I think it kind of scares people away or it sounds boring or something like that. But needless to say, I feel like the human connection is such a crucial part of everything that we do, even still, especially as an artist, especially as anyone who's trying to have any type of business, we're basically pack animals, so we all kind of need each other in those ways. Some people have different strengths, some people have different weaknesses, and it all kind of balances each other out. All right. So I'm gonna just jump ahead because everyone can assume that, when I moved to Asheville, for example, I put myself out there, going to the jazz jams, showing up at different shows, going to other people's shows, and that's how I made the connections that would go on to bring me to where I am today. But I'm going to jump forward to when I first moved to New York because that's pretty fresh and I can really talk about it succinctly. So when I first moved to New York, sure, I had some people that I've known from, people that I went to college with and people that I've known from touring, but I was starting from scratch in a lot of ways. So one thing that I did is I actually made a database, and it sounds really nerdy and really boring, but I made a database, like an Excel spreadsheet. And that might be over the top, but every person that I made a connection with, I put on the spreadsheet. And there were different, and there are people that were just music supporters who I might have met at shows, who might not play the instrument, but were just supporters of the art. Supporters of the arts. There were people that I met that were, top-notch, Grammy-winning artists and, famous musicians. There are people that I met that just were people off the street that just, we made a connection, we stayed in touch, and, it was just good vibes as humans. So there was a whole range of people. Then there's people who did other things like videographers and comedians and writers. And, so I made this database of all of these, everyone that I made a connection with. And one way that paid off very quickly is whenever it was time for me to do my first show in New York, which was probably after maybe 4 months of living here, I actually went through the database and contacted each person individually, one by one, to invite them to the show. That was my big first, debut as someone who was living in New York. And it worked out well. Sure, everyone didn't come, but if I hadn't taken the time to just create that database and really take account to the people that I know, it would not have been a successful show. And I say all that to say everyone has to find their own ways to kind of grow their connections with other humans, because as much as we like to be by ourselves, as much as sometimes we don't want to be bothered with people, being connected with other humans is what kind of propels us as a civilization. And so for musicians, it's no different. For whatever you want to do in life, it's really no different because we need each other. And not to get on the soapbox about that, but so that being said, I really don't take for granted just the simplicity of just what a simple human connection can do. I've seen myself where I met someone who connected me with another person who ended up sharing my music with another person that caused me to go to Japan. Straight up. Or I've had situations where this person knew me kinda, and then they told someone about my music. That person became a big fan and then told someone else, and then that person became a longtime student. So all those things, they really do add up. So just take care of all your human connections. Realize that whether it's just a person who's a nice human, friendly, to someone who is like 10-time Grammy winning artist, and everything in between, everybody's important to the process. So just, harvest those connections and protect them, keep them sacred. That probably sounds like some really weird stuff to say right now. I'm also kind of exhausted. I'm doing this video diary thing. It's day 26. We're almost done. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it.